of the A7 members to contest for first turtle.
This is going to be such a fun matchup to see, too. 33 versus Navs. The way they move around the map, the way they play throughout their games. You know, obviously Navs has been making a lot of highlights, but that's also with the R-Lot usually that has been able to go ahead and pick up. Now he's going to be on this Alice. It works a little bit different, but essentially, you know, they're still looking for those big setup potentials, the Throne of Ruins, which can all complement a Fatal Links. You can interchange those if you want to. And so for KOG, they've really got to be aware of where that setup potential from the Gleam entrance point, or even a flicker from Shark, will set them up. First turtle, the game's up. Mount Shark are going to be used. They have vision. Can they take it?
It's very early on, but the third, he's got to make something happen. But no, Colwell ends up taking it out with Mystic Gush. Kaizen does secure the turtle, but it is now time to disengage. Nat says no. Now in trouble. Glue can't seem to run away from this, but Zed and Kaizen hold tight to their lives.
Turtle secured for KOG, but they lose 2 to A7, and right now, trading for objectives is the case, but that's exactly what we were talking about. The setup potential right now with this composition early on and even into the late game is going to be worrisome if you're KOG. How do you play around that? How do you make sure that you're not going to get engaged on? And that's one of the things why the Fredrin, being as durable as he can, helps out. Obviously, Zed might sometimes have to utilize his traction pulls, the ultimate of Kimmy, to go ahead and either peel or just kind of keep things from getting too chaotic there. Nile also going to be big, and as we know with the Harith, even from game to game, it's going to take some time for Payan to get there, right? Zia is a little bit of a different case because he's on this gold lane Ruby, where it's like, even if you're not crazily scaled up, your crowd control, your ability to even surprise people by, oh my god, he's so low, but then he gets all this health back, is a problem for KOG.
It's going to be tough to deal with this raw sustainability, especially in the earlier stages. Once they get anti-heal, then it becomes a little bit easier, and the next point of contest will come down to BP1 and Cold World. So at this point, KOG, they just got to have a nice and steady grab. Their composition scales really nicely into this game. Keep in mind that they still have Harith on their side alongside with Kimmy. Zia makes an attempt, unfortunately does not find the hook.
Yep, doesn't find that pull in. Oracle was the first item for Navs too, so he built that in. Little durability there to help with this Alice. Mount Sharker, best player.
Okay, engagement looking good here, especially if you are Lapu, but best player able to trace this out of there just in time, despite the flicker. Nats, he's holding his best, but now the Fatal Links come through from Shark to allow him to survive a little bit longer. Nats almost out, still holding on, so strong. Takes one back with the help of Glue, but that is still an inevitable defeat.
Hey, they took out best player 1. They're looking for Zed.
They're so good at extending their leads. They had already won the fight, and Shark said, no, I can fish for one more.
Okay, best player 1's to pick up the Sky Piercer. The team's going to go ahead and hold out that turtle for him to make his way here. Let's take a look at the instant replay. This is actually surprising. All right, we get a bit of a look at this, but what happened here was essentially best player 1 gets caught out. Nats does a great job at following through. And mind you, he was really, really low, ends up still staying in it, and just in time for Cold World and Shark to make it there for that fight. So all that leads them to also securing the turtle.
Yep, they're trying to do their best here, but KOG, they're only following just by 2,000 gold behind. At this point, 1.8. Nats, he's making sure that he's covering as many sides as he possibly can, because from this point onwards, ALPHA7 is expected to start snowballing out of control. They're expected to win all the neutral objectives from this point onwards.
Okay, Shark up on this bottom side takes out KOG from this side of the brush. They want to start going ahead and knocking down some of these tier 1 turrets. They've garnered themselves a couple thousand gold ahead. Nothing too crazy that KOG can't work against. Taking a look at the gold difference here across the lanes, you can see that, you know, at least for Payan, he's been farming up. He's going to have to just deal with Naz here. Naz tanky enough to go ahead and push him back, but Payan is what they want to go ahead and lean towards once we get to that later game potential. So we might even see this be a full breakout fight for the last turtle. If not, then KOG decides we'll just wait for that Lord. We're ready. We have the firepower that we need. But so far, A7 has had the control.
I really think that as long as KOG is able to not even like secure the turtle at this point of the time, just kill BP1, right? As long as they slow him down, it should be a pretty straightforward line to get into the later stages of this game. But I love the fact that ALPHA7, they're not wasting any time, right? We're looking for turrets. Ideally, we'll want to break open mid-tier 1, but since they're going to defend it, we'll take everything else.
Yeah, ALPHA7's really playing this cleanly right now.
Oh, very good flicker all coming in from Zia, but not enough to secure this kill. 33rd does lose his flicker, so that's great for Cold World.
Okay, lost his flicker. He had to brave his fighter earlier when they set up on that tier 1 top side. Turtle's coming up though now. This is what I was expecting them to go ahead and rotate for this. It might still be that full-on team fight. 33's got his brave fighter now. He just doesn't have the flicker. Oh!
In trouble, and now, unfortunately, Cold World gets caught out here. Nicely played by Nile, but it's not over yet, as Nats is thinking about going for this, but they call it off. It's too late. We've lost our main win condition. We need to start backing up here. Take our turrets, take what you want. Look on the opposite side. BP1, he doesn't care. He is going on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, good use of the traction pulse there. I think that's kind of what you have to do for a YSS, is be a little greedy. Now it's tanky enough, man. 1v3 doesn't matter. He's going to be fine in the lane, just clears out the minions, will hold it down, giving space for BP1 to do what he needs to do across the map. You know, continue to go ahead and farm up. He's just a bit ahead of Kaysen right now in terms of levels, but that's what you want to be able to do on the YSS. They're still putting pressure here, bottom side tier 1. The KOG will finally go ahead and back off on it, but I will say this for KOG, they've essentially stopped the bleeding. It could have gotten too far out of hand. You know, we were looking at 2,000 gold earlier. They basically maintained it, which all this means is they're in really good contest period for that next lore, for that first lore that comes up. They just have to avoid the setup potential that comes through this, with the Gord especially. So as long as they take their time, I feel like they're going to be in a good position to hold things down before the Lord comes up.
Oh, look at this. Shark now having to take the turret path just to make sure that he survives and disengages. These movements coming in from KOG is putting A7, having them to get taxed underneath turret, losing a little bit of HP, but really they don't need to had they just moved a little bit sooner. But that's the idea, right? It's about taking and giving away the space, the constant push and pull.
Holy Crystal almost locked in here for Pay, and he's already got that Starlium Scythe, so we'll see. He once he has that, his damage throughput's already going to be pretty good, and that's why I think they're in a really good position to fight for that first Lord. Zia gets the wings. He's got the War Axe there too. Shark working on his second item, already got the Dom Ice. And, you know, there just hasn't been too much for Stacks, at least for Best Player 1, after he locked in that Sky Piercer, but you know, it's more so of this, it's one of those games where it's not going to be crazy team fight burst damage type thing. They really have to choose and pick their fights, and that's why we see them kind of take it slow on both sides.
They need the right opportunities. Most importantly, they need the right conditions. Zia's got some very relevant damage in this play, in this game. But KZen just purchasing Chastised Pauldron to keep him alive. Now, once again, they're going for a catch onto BP1. The split is good, and he is out in the open. That's the kill that they were looking for. And now Shark unable to do much about it. This should be a Lord take for free for KOG.
Hey, Gideon, you said it. You know, just find a Best Player 1, take him out. KOG does just that, but it looks like A7 wants to stop them.
They're not done just yet. Right into the Mystic Gush, flickering backwards into the Fatal Links, but Cold World cancels it out too early. 33 spooked him up, and now Harris gets to go for free in the Zaman Force with the help of Zed as they gun down each of the members one by one.
Oh, that was tough to see. The Mystic Gush, he flickered backward to gain some space, but then it was ended too early after, and then the Fatal Links came, so just not the connection for A7 on that team fight. That is a mistake, and that'll lead a Lord secure to KOG. So they have essentially not just stopped the bleeding, they're healed, right? They brought it back. They're in a good position to start marching towards the base turrets. They haven't got any turrets yet, so they need to go ahead and play around this Lord, take down some of the tier 1s, at least put some pressure. That might be all they get off this first Lord, but they've essentially gotten themselves back into this game.
Yep, we're now hitting the 30K mark at 10 minutes, which honestly is kind of slow for 10 minutes overall. It just goes to show that both sides are not hyper-focusing on just farming. They're so worried about these bigger movements that they have to focus their attention to defending their borders.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, you know, very different kind of nature that we're seeing here unfold in game 1 of this best of 3 as the tier 2 turret does fall. Divine Glaive now locked into for Payan, so you already saw a preview of the damage in that fight up in the mid lane. He's gonna hurt a lot more, so turrets will fall across the board. Tier 1 up top, tier 1 in mid, tier 2 in the bottom. KOG looking to take another turret up top. This is huge value off the Lord that they were able to go ahead and secure. Now at this point too, you've essentially made it difficult for best player one, right? He's had his own free time to go ahead and roam the map, take what camps he want, take what he want around the jungle. Well, now I think you shook him up a little bit, right? You found him out now in that moment, so he can't just be roaming around by himself up to this point of the game.
I think right now, A7, the next adjustment, they got to kill that glue. Glue's the only one who can really mess with BP1, right? Everybody else, he can maybe traceless away, get enough distance to stay off, but glue sticks on you. And once he's stuck on you, you can get dispositioned.
Yeah, the glue was such a good pick. You know, I was thinking maybe that Matilda, but this glue's working perfectly right now
It's
for
smart.
KOG. And they can pretty much continue to just keep ALPHA7 on this side of the map, you know, keep them onto the turrets, keep them kind of in check. They've got about a minute for that lore to come up. Look at the lord advantage, man. You see how much towers they were able to go ahead and knock down, that tower damage there. Really good value, considering the fact that they really had to kind of just buckle themselves in before that lord broke out here. Oh, they might be looking for something.
Oh, the flicker is good, but it's onto Zia. Oh, they Zaman Force as well, but they're out of position. Fatal Links comes through. Kaizen able to tank the damage, and Zed's got to be careful, but the line has been drawn in the sand, and they can't force any further. Nats! He catches 4, and now they take out Payan. This was the fight that they were looking for, and best player one securing Kaizen's life. Now with Glue still able to find the big reset, they need Zed and 33rd to get in here. If not, they're just going to have to watch as their friend is going to get cut down openly in the mid lane as Nats holds them back. 4v1 compared to a 1v2.
Navs was so good there. Not only did he engage with that initiation to get 4, but then he kept the 2 members back, cut off from actually following through, and still lived to it. And now that's going to get them in the Lord here. ALPHA7 finds a moment to turn the game back in their favor off a really decisive choice from KOG that ended up biting them in the behind.
Yep, that definitely was like the closest we'll ever see to a Muay Thai match, man. Both sides got into a quick scramble, got into the clinches, pulled away, and all of a sudden a huge roundhouse kick coming in from Nats to catch 4.
Hey, man, and this is a game without a Cho or a Paquito, right? And we're seeing martial arts basically unfold in the mid lane. So at this point, if you're KOG, after having that in your favor, now you're the ones thinking, oh, maybe we should take a breather here. Because of Navs. Navs' re-engagement on the Alice is stopping them in their tracks because it's making it difficult for Zed or even Payan to an extent to try to actually follow through in that fight. So they're on the defense. Lord charges in, takes out the tier 2 turret. Let's see what they decide to do. They still try to maintain the distance here, but ALPHA7 knocking on the base turret doors.
Well, let's find out how this is going to play out, because once again, Cold World real good on this Goshen at artillery, just throwing down the projectiles, looking for any potential for maybe Shark to actually re-engage upon them. He does have the Fatal Links and the Flicker, and KOG is just as aware. They're doing so good every single T2, methodically taking them out one by one.
They wanted to go ahead and get some equilibrium across the map. ALPHA7 will do just that as the last tier 2 is knocked down. KOG on the defense. Shark?
Okay.
Fatal Links?
Purify already out into the Mystic Gutch on towards now side. Third, oh, he flickers forward with the Bravest Fighter into the Raging Slash on top of Cold World. Don't see the Landshaker out, but it goes out to best player, but it doesn't matter. He gets back out of there with no problem thanks to his Traceless. Back lines, however, start to run as KOG finally take a fight back.
The pendulum swings back and forth in this game 1. Past the 15-minute mark, ALPHA7 chose to stay in that brush up there towards that turret, right? Again, this is dangerous grass. And unfortunately for them, they ended up now getting shot and counterpunched in the face because of that. KOG is now knocking on the base turrets a little bit. They're not going to be able to put it too much, but what we're seeing is, you know, this setup that ALPHA7 is looking for really is built around that Mystic Gush from Cold World. The problem is, once they see that big beam come through, KOG is very quick to just force themselves towards Cold World, so either he ends it early and he's forced to flicker backward and try to run away. And then you just have this full try to retreat from ALPHA7, they get collapsed on, and that puts themselves in a very difficult position because with the double fighter lineup too, you know, what are you going to do? Just crowd control them? Keep them there? You know, you don't have someone like a marksman, a traditional marksman, to go ahead and fight back or keep them at their whims.
It's all about just working off the ultimates right now for the side of A7, right? True damage is a powerful, powerful tool to have, but it has its limitations. For now, wait, how is he... Wait, how did KZen... Hold on. They know where he is. They quickly use the turtle button. They notice that KZen's already in their backline. They quickly split into two as Cold World looking to reposition in their place. Thank God.
That could have been way worse for ALPHA7. KZen, I don't know how he ended up there. That's one sneaky Fredrin.
Very sneaky indeed. But they don't have the turtle boat. And Nats doesn't have his ult as well. No traction pulse coming in from Zed, but still... The ult economy is better for KOG, and their battle spells are coming back up, except for Payan, so they have to be careful. And A7 willing to roll the dice. KZen now initiates. Right on top of Nats, he gets knocked up as now is looking for space here. Best player one's thinking about 33. It. And 33 gets on top of him, traceless. Forward, he's trying to zone him out. Flickers to get the stun, get somebody, take this Lord. And it looks like 33 gets best player. Cole takes out KZen. It's Zed with the Lord. Now Nats looking to clean as many as possible. And Payan managed to survive for so long, but really, what can he do against the unkillable Nats? He's waiting for the Zaman Force. He needs now. He gets it back up, and now he can fight back. Nats, he just has to wait it out. Just wait it out. Don't let him get another reset. And they find the Fatal Links to secure the kill onto Payan.
And the whole time, Zia's up there on the turret, walking with the minions. Oh man, what's happening here? KOG, it slips through their hands as ALPHA7 will win the fight. And they'll clear out what they can. They need some more minions though. They need a little more time.
Oh.
KZen's back up.
Wait, just KZen absorb the minions, absorb the minions. No! He needs to hold it. The next wave is about to spawn. So close. And yet they couldn't close it out. The minions spawn just in time. And nothing they can do about A7. They found the opportunity, unable to close out the game, literally 3 seconds away from it.
So close yet so far. I mean, looking at the instant replay, this one again. All right, we missed it a little bit. This is the live cam, but what happened there is they went for that fight. They end up, again, dissecting things. Nats bought so much time. It was the Mystic Gush that actually killed KZen. So, but surprisingly enough, Zed secured the Lord for them. And then they were able to go ahead and keep them into the game because of that Lord, those powered up minions. Because if that wasn't the case, then that would have been the game-winning push because Zia had just decided to go take that base turret and make things happen. But unfortunately for them, with those powered up minions, KOG is able to stay in this game a little bit longer.
I think right now people need to recognize who are the ones who play around the burst and who has consistent DPS. For the side of A7, it's best player one. He has the most consistent amount of DPS they can pump out if he has the space. Same goes for Nats. He can fight on a dime. That's totally fine. But on the opposite side, it's actually Zed alongside with KZen who can take... Well, actually, let's also include Nal into the conversation as well. They can fight forever for as long as you want. 33 and as long as Payan, they must play around their ultimates to make it work.
Yeah, that's what we saw in the last team fights too. Again, just how long they stay alive. And I almost think too, in that last one, 33, maybe if he stuck to Cold World, put a little more pressure on the gourd there, that could have been a different case because that Mystic Gush, if it gets that full use, that efficiency there, that's where, you know, you get the majority of the damage burned through. Taking a look, not too many stacks, right, for best player one with that Skypiercer, but that does still have a value to it, just having a couple stacks here. Lord's coming up this time, powered up, evolved, 20+ minute mark for this one. A very long game one so far from what we used to see in the wildcard matches, but either team here, at this point, when they start to switch in some of these defensive items, now we're seeing the immortalities come to play. They want to make a play on Payan.
Well, they're going to try. Wow. And now on top of Payan, Payan is 1v1 and almost gets it. The Fatal Links in time. Oh my goodness. He's able to swap items into the immortality, but still dies anyway, nearly finishing off a 3v1.
That got a little close, because I was going to say, if best player one died there, they can't get the Lord. They can't do what they wanted to do. So threading the needle on that one for A7. They stay alive. They've got a clear sign for this Lord. But it's not going to be easy to take because KOG has the tools that they need to stall this out, to play up front. Immortality for KZen. Niall's got his own as well. They got to go ahead and fight for this space. They need to buy time. 20 seconds for Payan to be up.
Oh, and now they're making the attempt. Early Purify.
Oh.
Oh, and now the engagement from Nats is beautiful. His best player wants secures the kill off towards Zed's side. The front line, however, now slowly getting whittled away. BP. Oh no, he's caught by KZ. He should be able to Traceless out of here, but he has immortality. Traceless saves him anyway. His 33rd, unfortunately, is the next to fall. And there you have it. After all this time, you have ALPHA7 taking the win 4-0. Payan is the only one left. Can he truly clean this up?
Oh, this is dicey. Zia, does he get the pull here? The stun's gonna come out with a projectile!
It's good enough. And before Payan could even wait for his Purify to come back up, ALPHA7 take game 1.
Took him a little bit longer than they probably wanted, but ALPHA7